悪いな、クリムジョー。
Yo, what's going on, people? Daniel here from the AK Mindset podcast, bringing you episode 21 of the AK Mindset. As usual, I have my co-hosts with me, Rajel and Ed. Say hello to the people.
Yo, Agwan, we're back again for a special episode. As always, I'm excited for this one. Can't wait.
Likewise, bless up everybody. Thanks for the wait, the much anticipated hype for this special episode. So yeah.
Yes, and for this episode, you've probably seen from the title, we're talking about Diamond Ace. Overdue, very overdue, and to make up for the long wait, we decided to bring a special guest. So we've got the Don, the Godfather, the future Hall of Famer, JD Legend. Say hello to the people, Jay.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk about the best sports series in anime history. I know a lot of people may not agree, but you know, I'm here to convince everybody.
Nah, talk your ish, man. You're right. You didn't tell one lie.
It's peak, man. It's peak. We watched it 5 times. Never gets.
So yeah, just to break the ice, I want to ask you guys, what was your general thoughts on season 2 of Diamond Ace? And I want to go to Ed first, since this was your first time watching it.
Yeah, it was my first time. Literally just caught up, and the first thing I thought about was like, it was quick, man. It went by quick. I think 25 less episodes. I felt it because I wanted more. It was a beautiful season. I went through it fast, to be fair, but I really enjoyed it. I think the development of some characters and the additions of some characters as well was good. I feel like I enjoyed it more than the first season. At times in the first season, I felt like it dragged out a little bit. But this season was good, man. I enjoyed it.
Okay. What about you, Ed? I mean, Rajel, how did you find this season? I know you've seen it before, but...
Yeah, this is like the rewatch for me. And I know the first time I did season 2, I accidentally started off with Act 2 because I was so confused. It didn't even make sense. Why is it the part 1 then Act 2? I was like, Act 2, season 2. But you know, I blessed it, watched it in the chronological order. And the rewatch it kind of let me see details that I missed, and I can really key into kind of the emotions of the teams and some of the like character dynamics, and just I thought I really keyed into how passionate they are about baseball, which is crazy because at some moments you feel like it's just life or death. Like if I don't make this play, if I don't win this game, I'm letting down myself, I'm letting down the team, you know, and that kind of really shone through on the rewatch. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's good. And last but not least, Jay, what did you think of season 2?
I think season 2 is where you really see the lifeblood of the series. Like season 1 was amazing, obviously, because you have the third years that are like special to everybody. You know, you love them all, but they're already a ready-made product. And in season 2, you see people that you thought were scrubs. You see people that you didn't really know if they were good or not, and you see them grow before your very eyes. You see what it takes to get to that place. You see the mentality shift, the growth. You see Sawamura just go on this journey from absolute devastation and honestly borderline being a useless player. Like he was really on the brink, and you see him go through this massive turnaround. And it seems like in this season they focus more on the mental side of the game rather than the actual play, and just seeing how that was developed in every single character. To me, I still think it's the best season, with the best matches as well, despite the Inashiro in season 1. But overall, man, it was just, I was so engaged from the beginning to the very end for the entire series. Just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I have to agree with all those points there, especially the mental point you brought up, because I feel this season kind of gives you payoff for what you experienced during season 1, where you've seen the sparks within the first years, especially in Sawamura, Furia, and Haruchi, and you kind of starting to see their journey as they come into their own as first string players, and just how it's not easy for them. But one thing I really like is just the way you'll see Sawamura developing as he's slowly adding things to his toolkit, and it's all coming together as he's still trying to vie for that position of ace pitcher on the team. So I think season 2 does a really good job of continuing the journey that we're on with Sawamura and seeing him as he's working towards slowly getting towards that goal. Yeah, I think season 2 overall is really good. But on to the next point. I want this point, I'm talking about leadership. So in this season, we see Narumiya Mei. He's taken on the third years have left his team, obviously, and now he's coming into his own as an ace, and he's facing new challenges. And we also have Miyuki, who has been given the captainship title by Tetsu, and he has to come into his own, managing the pitchers, now the batters, and just be the overall caretaker for the team. So I wanted to ask you guys your thoughts on how you felt the challenges they experience in their leadership positions, both Narumiya and Miyuki. And anyone can take this one.
I feel like, especially with this season, it was put a lot of emphasis on philosophy and how people, their character and ideals and personal philosophies kind of integrate into what kind of teammate they are and what kind of ideologies they bring forth. And with obviously Mei, you have that kind of headstrong, talented, overly talented, sometimes overbearingly talented mentality where he's like, oh yeah, I've got this, watch me, I've been doing this since day dot, I'm number one, I'm special. And that kind of bleeds through his philosophy of how he approaches his leadership, because you see how teammates, they kind of fully buy into it. It's not toxic. In certain environments, it becomes toxic where you're like, oh, this guy just thinks he's the headshot, the top guy, the top don. But it doesn't become toxic because everybody around the team buys into it. And you see it throughout the series, like especially the time when he decided not to follow his catcher's, catcher's call on a play. And it was like, no. Any other team, that might be like, oh, that's toxic. But the catcher was like, a couple chapters on, was like, bro, you have to do that. Don't lower your level to me. I'm trying to reach you. I'm trying to shine like you. I'm trying to be better. Don't, just because that didn't end up going well or didn't produce the result we wanted, doesn't mean you have to back down and just listen to everything I say. You are Mei. You are that guy. You're the guy who tried to recruit a super team in middle school. You're special. And that kind of emphasis is so distinctly different from Miyuki, because Miyuki, he's relaxed, laid back, people person, but also he doesn't want to take everything too seriously. He also has that talent level where, he's extraordinary and special, and everybody knows that, but he doesn't put much emphasis on that as an individual. He doesn't show out where he's like, oh, look at me, I'm the superstar. He kind of delegates, he builds other people up, he listens. Most importantly, he listens and responds and takes in consideration other people's ideas, thoughts, and how they feel in the moment. And we saw that with the Nabe situation. Man was listening. He wanted to fully say, look, bro, I understand your position and I understand what you're saying, and the scenario you're in is hard. I'm not going to force you to do anything that you're not comfortable with. And I don't think Mei would do that. I don't think Mei has the same kind of philosophy ideals like that. So two very contrasting leadership styles.
Yeah, I was just gonna add on to that. I think it's funny where that comes in, because you've seen a lot of teams, and I guess one comparison you can make is you're in the NBA, for example, right? And I guess you can use John Morant as an example. you know, he's young, he's a superstar. They feel like they're capable of anything. I'm sure LeBron had to go through the same thing, where you believe in your talent. You believe your talent can take anyone anywhere. So it's just like, as long as you guys are following me, like, we're good. Like, we got it. And sometimes you realize that you have to make sure that your teammates are all on board and they're all locked in with their own individual play. Because Naomi was so focused on the fact that I can carry the team, that everyone believed he could carry the team. They also forgot about the opponent. They forgot about the fact that there's other people on your team that you have to keep in line. You have to make sure their mentality is ready. They're ready to do whatever it takes to win when I'm not at my best. And I think Naramia didn't understand that. And then I think it just goes to show when he lost to Ugamori and the speech that the coach gave him, where he basically ripped him up. He tore Naramia to pieces. And he ripped him up, and I was here for it, because he was right. He was like, bro, I thought you were going to be the leader of the team, but clearly I was wrong. Like, clearly you don't understand what leadership is. Like, people forget, but Harado is raw. Like, Harada last year was absolutely incredible, but he understood that, okay, I have the best pitcher in Japan, but I need to keep him in line. He knew how to manage Naramia. Naramia doesn't know how to manage anyone. As a leader, you have to be able to manage. You can't just carry, right? That's the thing that a lot of these people don't understand. And I think if you look at the Brooklyn Nets situation, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they don't realize they have to manage the team too. They're like pseudo managers. And if you can't do that, when things get bad and you can't just and you can't just rely on yourself, you need other people to deliver. Guess what happens? Everything falls apart.
Thanks.
So I think that the anime showed that so well, and it just goes to show, this is why I love the anime so much. It doesn't matter how good you are. Miyuki learned the same lesson. Just because I'm amazing doesn't mean that everyone in the team is just going to understand I'm amazing and everyone's going to be fine, because everyone can be held to my same standards. Not everyone is as talented as you. I have to manage the team. I have to understand what it is I need to do in each and every situation. And it may not be me hitting a home run. It may not be me, throwing a changeup, on the third pitch. It may be me just giving a light little nudge to my catcher, be like, yo, man, I'm going to throw wherever you put the mitt. And the moment you say that, bro, all of a sudden he has the confidence, like, all right, I got this amazing pitcher. This is the best pitch he can throw. That's when you form the battery. That's when everything happens, right? And I think Narumiya and Miyuki both had to learn that, and learning that leadership is not about ability. It's about management. I love the season, bro. I love it.
It's a magical season. Magical.
Beautiful. But yeah, I agree. I think Mary suffers from like a severe case of like tunnel vision. Like he was like, this is what we need to do. And I feel like most talented players in almost every kind of aspect of sport sometimes suffers from that. Like I can think back to Kuroko Basket, to all the generation of miracles in their own team. I felt that they depend on that ability so much, they forget that everyone's not talented as them sometimes, because they feel like they are the team. If I do well, everyone else is gonna, match my energy and do well. But on the other hand, Miyuki's like, you know what? I need to look after everyone else, physically and mentally. Like, are we in this together? Because let's not forget, Miyuki's amazingly talented as well. Like, he's amazing, but I feel like he doesn't let that like dictate how the team plays, and I think that's the major difference in how they lead the teams.
Yeah, and just going off that point about leadership, I think, and this is something that I have to shout out Perry. That's someone who's been badgering us to do this episode. He brought up the point about being a great player versus being an actual great leader. And I think in the Narumiya situation, and before I go into it further, I have to say I really enjoyed that moment when he lost, because the tears, I was so happy when I saw him cry. Because the suffering he put us through in season 1,
revenge antics.
I didn't expect it. You didn't expect them to lose. So I was like, okay, revenge match. And then they lost, and I was like, wow, okay, that's surprising. But in that situation, I think the coach really did get it down, where he was just so focused on being a great player, he forgot that he's also supposed to be a leader. And it kind of showed with the players around them where they were all being individuals. They forgot that they were a team. And baseball is one of those sports that you really need to be a team because there's so many different positions. Everyone's responsible and they all come together to win the game. And he was so focused on, yeah, it's just me. As long as I'm good, we win. And that just, it didn't work. And the thing with Miyuki that I found, I guess, interesting is in the situation with Nabe, I didn't really think he was wrong. But when he talks with Tetsu, you kind of see where his position of privilege because of his talent, I guess, I don't want to say blinded him, but made him a bit too relaxed where he's like, oh, okay, if you don't want to play, then you can just quit. When he made the assumption that he wanted to quit when he never really said that. He just said he was struggling. So yeah.
You know, it's funny, right? That Nabe situation, I'm not gonna lie, it took me maybe 3 rewatches to finally understand all sides. Because at first I'm like, yeah, I don't think what Miyuki said was wrong. And then I thought, yo, Zono is really tripping. Like, Zono was tripping. I just thought Zono was tripping for a minute. And then I think it was on the 3rd rewatch, I kind of sat down and really thought about it. I'm like, one, Nabe didn't want to quit. Miyuki kind of just cut him off. And, you know, when it comes to certain mindsets that people have, where Miyuki's like, I have this talent, I need to maximize it. Baseball's not a game to me. There are some people that do want to succeed, but realize their limitations. And there's a whole other mental struggle that they have to go through to stay on the team. With Miyuki, he knows he can do it. He has absolute confidence in his ability that, okay, if I don't make it now, I'm gonna make it later. With Nabe, it's like, I'm never gonna make it, but I'm still here. With Zono, he was at that point where I'm like, yo, am I really gonna get my chance or not? You know, Zono had that undying determination where he knew he was trash and he got there. So for Zono, he sees anyone else that's trash and says, bro, just work as hard. Just work as hard as me and we can make it. Let's pull everyone together. And Miyuki's like, well, I work hard, but I hoop at the same time. So it was like, I think it was for Miyuki to realize, and this is the same thing with Naramiya, man, like, hey, not everyone is like you. And as a leader, you have to have empathy. I feel like a leader that lacks empathy is not a leader. Empathy is one of the most important things that you need as a leader in order to actually succeed. And Naramiya didn't have it, and neither did Miyuki, and I think they both grew in that category as they go along in season 2.
Do you know what's so funny? It's the apparent distinction because they're both on. It's the same thing they lack, but they're on different fields. So May is not empathetic enough at all. He's not looking at all to understand somebody else's feelings and emotions and their passion and their need to also do well and be a collective as a team. Whereas Miyuki is like, he's too empathetic. He's sometimes, in some aspects, he's too understanding that he's not going to challenge somebody else's notion. He's not going to challenge and be like, or question why Nabe wanted to quit, or push him and say, instead of quitting, maybe there's still opportunity for you. There's still time to, you know, be in the position that you want to be. I know you have this dream that you want to play. The opportunity is still there. Like, as long as you breathe, as long as you can still swing, you know what I mean? They're both on such contrasting ends. And definitely throughout this season, I definitely see in terms of even the coaches, everybody's philosophies were being challenged. Everybody's ideals and understanding of the game of baseball and what it means to be a team was being challenged. And the things that everybody kind of prioritized, they had to rethink and look at it and be like, maybe there is more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think especially with Miyuki, that's why Tetsu chose him, because he knew that it wouldn't be easy for him, but the end result would be worth the struggle because of how much responsibility he has to take on. And he also has Kuromochi and Maizono as supports, and I believe they serve to help balance him out, where Kuromochi is a more balanced one. He sees both sides, and Zono he's more emotional, so he might evoke more of a reaction of Miyuki, force him to stand up for himself or take more of a what's it, confrontational role when he's trying to address things. And both of them help drive Miyuki as he's learning how to be a captain. And I think I saw one comment on YouTube where the moment where you really see Miyuki become like embrace his role is during the Raw when they're versing Seiko, where he kind of changes up the words and he's saying, "Oh yeah, we are not kings, we're challengers." And you see where he's trying to put his own spin on the Raw to motivate his teammates. But yeah, I think the struggle and the dynamic between Narumiya and Miyuki was one of the more interesting plot threads of the season, because especially with Narumiya, you could say he was overcompensating because he knew how important Masa or Harada was to the team, and he was trying to take on too much, you could say, because he didn't really know how to do it properly.
I love you.